Two reference.
Yeah, you hit your mic. Who's the real loser? That destroyed the fucking podcast. Everyone has unsubscribed. They're gone.
There's a post to talk about Loki. I'm out of here.
So Gen V happened, which we'll get to. Yeah, everybody, welcome to episode number 108 of My Cup of Tea.
You say it like that. What are we doing here?
A grueling 4 years.
That's awesome.
We have podcasted almost as long as the election term.
Almost as long as a full, 4 years of college or 4 years of high school for some people.
This month actually is the anniversary of Hyperspace.
That's crazy.
4 years it'll be.
Oh, wow. We should do a Hyperspace anniversary then coming up. Wow. I didn't even know
We're just sitting around. We're just like, hey, this was fun again. Like for like the fifth time. Like, oh man, some good memories there. Remember when Carson was distraught over Palpatine's return? Oh man, everyone's losing it. Sean was there.
We know. Why have we done more rehashes for Hyperspace? But so the last one we did for Hyperspace was just us reminiscing about the 100-year anniversary of the podcast, right? Or getting to 100 episodes.
100 years of the podcast. We are immortal.
Oh.
And Evan proved me wrong. He does not get bored in immortality. All the people around him dying doesn't matter because you know what? Final Fantasy 27 is finally coming out.
Kingdom Hearts 27, Final Fantasy 27. Let's go.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Last of Us 4.
Honestly, the gaps between this franchise. The first one was 2013. The second one came out in 2020, I think, right? Yeah. Goddamn, 7 years, 8 years. I mean, similar to Spider-Man 2. When Spider-Man 1 came out in 2018, it's now 2023.
Miles was
2020. So they have the time if they don't want to do another Miles game. If they just make that Spider-Man 3, we could get it sooner than later.
Yeah,
hopefully. I don't know. They have Wolverine on the horizon. Wolverine's probably 2025.
I would like them to have like priority to get this announced game out.
Exactly. Yeah. I think in because some people said Wolverine's 2024, which I think would be too quick of a turnaround.
Do you think they want to make the Wolverine game in time for Hugh Jackman's last hurrah?
Oh, it's definitely coming out before Secret Wars. That Secret Wars, 2027 at this point?
Oh, that's right. I'm saying as if Deadpool 3 is the last hurrah.
Oh,
which is like what we were marketed for, but with Secret Wars on the horizon, it's like
people are like,
no one's final yet.
No one's safe when Feige sees the Secret Wars script. It's just like
RGJ not safe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hugh Jackman and what was the latest bullshit rumor? It was like Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire are the leads of Secret Wars. Stop it! I think that's awful.
I think that's a headline.
No,
because I was hearing around the rumor mill time. From what I was hearing is it's not like the main protagonist are Tobey and Hugh. It's like they're team captains essentially of chosen for some sectors of TVA stuff, which I'm down.
Let it end.
We can't just keep fucking saying that when that's what this fucking movie is. It's a last hurrah of all of the everything.
True, but I mean, I was so excited to see Tobey in No Way Home, and then given the story arc of what we got from him. Seeing him lead a team of randos, I don't know if it'll do anything for me. The magic has already happened. I saw him again. He looks great. He can do some more
randos, you say?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be with what? Oh, Spider-Man's leading now. Cyclops from X-Men Apocalypse, and now he's talking to whatever from this movie.
That is exactly what Infinity War did.
Oh, with characters we knew.
We cared about those characters too
from 20 years ago. I don't care about.
Well, we know.
I don't even know who played Jean Grey in the X-Men movies. Whatever her name is, Famke Janssen. She's back.
I care. I would care. I cared at the end of Days of Future Past. I'll tell you that much.
I did, and it's over. 2014.
Someone shared that clip on Twitter, and I was sitting there fucking about to cry because it's such a good ending.
Fantastic ending, and that was the last time I cared about any of that cast. But they want me to care 10 years later? Are people going to show out for X-Men? Or are people going to show out for old X-Men cast members or Fox characters in general in Deadpool and Secret Wars or whatever as much as they did for Toby and Andrew? I think Toby and Andrew alone are more popular than every X-Men character.
I will tell you, having lived through the experience of a crowd cheering for fucking Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness, I will tell you. Yes,
No way.
I have the evidence from many screens. I have the evidence.
Black Bolt?
Yes. So Evan, I'm telling you right now, whatever your thoughts are of the general audience is way lesser than you give them credit in your eye. I think it's fun. I think it's all fun. But Evan, yeah, they're gonna be excited, and that's why they're doing it, because the studio knows it.
Okay. I don't know.
I'll say if I see Nicolas Cage on a motorcycle, I'm gonna fucking.
What? It's gonna be the same thing as from the Flash. They're gonna flash his ass.
No, it'll look.
They're gonna rotoscope his ass.
They're not gonna rotoscope Nick Cage. Because you know how cool he just present day Nick Cage on a cycle.
By the way, I saw the trailer. I went to go see Priscilla today. Great movie, by the way. Great movie. And they did the trailer for this upcoming A24 movie with Nick Cage, where he's in everybody's dreams or whatever.
I saw that.
I remember hearing about it, but I haven't seen the trailer for it. I finally saw the full trailer, and it was great. It looks funny. It looks really emotional. I'm like, okay.
It's funny because just seeing like the one still from it, I was like, is this a horror?
It looks comedy that might delve into terror later on.
It might be a little like parody-esque because it's like that borderlines like a Nightmare on Elm Street scenario. But he's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just Nick Cage.
He's gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Please. One of the best movies of all time.
That's on our list, surely, right?
It should be. I mean, I watch that movie every year.
You recommend Book of Secrets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as good, but it has Ed Harris. I love Ed Harris, one of my favorite actors of all time as well.
I remember seeing some clips of Ed Harris in that movie. I found the city of gold. I found it.
We should do, we did an AVP 13 movie fucking stream.
We did. Anything is on the table for the fact.
We should do an Ed Harris 13 movies. Just 13 movies of Ed Harris.
Does Top Gun Maverick count?
Yes. I don't care.
As long as he's in the cast for 5 minutes, it counts.
Exactly. We'll watch.
I can't even think a lot. I mean, I should be able to think a lot. We did one. We did a Truman Show.
But I was just about to say we just watched Truman Show together.
Well, we could do a RoboCop trilogy, and
is he in those movies?
He is RoboCop.
Oh wow, good for him. Never saw the RoboCop movies.
Me either. I was curious. I was like, maybe I'll see him since this 2014 remake's coming out. Didn't see that either.
10 years later, here we are.
Wasn't Sam Jackson in that? Kind
of.
Marketing.
Sam Jackson's in a lot of things. They just,
Evan, I found out Samuel L. Jackson is in The Exorcist 3.
What? No, he's not.
It was before he was famous. We're talking like pre-Goodfellas, I think.
I would have. We both saw it together on stream.
So he's you remember the spoilers? Exorcist 3. You remember the scene where our detective is having a dream where he's walking around in heaven.
Yeah.
There's this one guy who's like sitting by radio. He's a blind guy. He's got glasses on. And he's like the living don't hear shit or something. Because someone was tuning a radio. I don't know. But also what was weird is that he was dubbed.
Weird.
So it's just double damage if you couldn't recognize the man.
It was him. Okay, cool. But you said he was like blindfolded or something, or blind?
He was blind. He had glasses on. He was kind of like hunched over. He had a thick beard before his Nick Fury days.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Good job, Nick. But yeah. So enough vamping. What do you want to talk about first? Loki, Gen V, the Marvel. I think we should do.
Let's roll the dice here. Survey says.
Survey says it doesn't fucking matter. No. I think we should do Gen V and then dive into Loki plus Marvel because it's two Marvels, right? We'll end on Marvel good news, bad news article, and then we'll do Loki, and then So start with Gen V. Because this is one of the shorter episodes of the season.
I was like, damn, I gotta set aside an hour to make sure I watch this, and then it was like 38 minutes on the runtime. I was like, oh,
yeah, I remember credits. With credits, it was like, every Thursday it was Loki and Gen V night, and I managed to slip in like all of that in less than 2 hours. It was very, very weird. But this was a short episode. Let me pull up my tweets because I had a lot to say. Overall, Gen V is a fucking blast. This is one of those rare shows where, first off, 8 episodes used to perfection. And then in one season, it managed to capture the magic of why we love the Boys universe and also surpass the Boys for me, at least for season 1. It's always hard to compare multiple seasons, right? People do it all the time with different franchises. Versus like, is the Mandalorian already better than the sequel trilogy? And it's like one season. It's like, wait, what are we doing here? Or like, is Mando better than Clone Wars? It's 7 seasons, and it's like, I don't get it, guys. Anyways,
is Time Blazer better than Breaking Bad?
Is Time Blazer better than fiction?
Or science?
But yeah, so I loved all 8 of these episodes from the jump. Everything was just there by tweet. But everything was just incredible. I love this cast so much. I've quickly come to love every member of this cast. I didn't want anybody to die. I didn't think anybody was going to die. I think we said this in my predictions, one of our episodes previously, where I was like, okay, I think me and you both talked about it. Like, we're getting an X-Men scenario here in the finale where we have Sam and Emma possibly like diverging, not possibly, they are diverging paths in terms of what is true justice between Sam and Emma. I keep saying Sam and Emma. Sam and Kate. And versus Marie, Emma, Jordan, Andre. Andre possibly playing the middle role, but he came to be on the hero side as well. And we got it kind of like Magneto Professor X scenario, where it's like you understand where Kate and Sam are coming from. Obviously, these are 2 caged-in individuals who are now lashing out against society in horrible ways, but also internally justifiable based on what they experienced. They blame the people that contributed this to them, like Shetty and, the school as a whole. But there are regular people in the school who didn't have anything to do with it. Or, just other regular people who are also innocent victims who are also part of the purge that Sam and Kate are now, going off against. So yeah, full spoilers for the Gen V finale, but overall, I loved it. I loved seeing it's a very chaotic and very messy finale. Not messy in terms of editing or story structure, but just messy in terms of like the emotions of it all. There's so many different diverging paths here between Sam's internal battles with Luke, which is amazing. I'm a sucker for internal battles, and that was really cool. And then Kate's whole Kate versus Emma, Kate versus Jordan, Kate's killing spree. I loved everything about this finale. It was short, but it was very meaningful for the most part.
I agree. It was it was, it's the finale, it's the shit's going down episode, which a lot of people tend to have problems with Marvel doing, but I see Chris as me. No, I think it's all good. But they're really good at character work, especially Andre, right, with his dad.
So good.
That was really good. God, it was so. He was like, I need to call specifically the wardrobe person to refit my costume for you. Like, oh fuck, dude. Is he prepared to die?
Hey, on top of, are you prepared to die? Yeah. On top of that, like you're saying, all this is happening right after the doctor gave him the good old, like, 3, 4,
maybe 5 dark spots.
What kills me in movies and TV shows when doctors are like, "Hey, here, can you take a look at this? Look at this map." I'm like, I'm a regular civilian. I can't read shit. Just tell me what I got, doc.
Yeah, he was like, well, at least he was. I get it. He was like, hey, you see these 3 dark spots? That's bad. Okay.
Not good, cool. Buddy. It's not healthy.
And here I thought this was a fucking was it, what are they called? The topographical maps of like different depths of the mountains.
Sure. Brain maps.
I haven't been geography in a minute. But yeah, anyway. Good show. Where were we?
Just discussing Andre, what was going on with him. And basically, this whole series has always been about like the mantles, the pressure, the trauma that the parents have placed, parents/guardians/pseudo guardians have placed on these young adults on Gen V. And we see that a lot in this series, especially in this finale, most particularly with Andre here. Andre talking to his dad, who still admits fault with the keeping a secret, which was good, but is also giving him that pressure of being, hey, you're the next Polaris. So he has like this familial pressure to live up to what his dying dad, possibly dying dad. Like, if he stopped using his powers, he'd be fine, I guess. Yeah. Or, but
it's also an interesting thing that gets brought up is it makes you wonder what are the long-term effects for Andre himself? Like, should he be aware of how much he uses his power? That's actually it's actually an interesting thing that's like, not many people remember. Is like that's the thing with like the Ant-Man films as well. Is like the amount of times.
What?
Yeah, but like that's why every time Hank Pym is like from the very first movie, they're like, "Why don't you go and do this heist thing?" It's like, well, I would, but like the suit messed up my molecule. Like I can't shrink anymore. Stuff like that. It's like an erosion of your body. It takes a toll.
Well, deep. That's dark. I wish they would kind of delve into that kind of shit in future movies.
Well, it's not about the old generation, is it? Which is your favorite? Haha, gotcha. We got him back. I made the decision for you.
Damn. I mean, you could say, "Hey,
you're excited for the next Avengers, the Young Avengers."
I mean, yeah, Young Avengers would be cool.
Were you not fucking singing the praises like a year ago of like Kate Bishop and Yelena?
I'm with you. I think those are fascinating, interesting characters. People always say Phase 4 has not introduced any interesting characters, and that's wild.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit to me because like Phase 4 has introduced a lot of my top 10 favorite MCU characters in Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi's sister, Kate, Yelena. I love all these characters. Even pre-controversy, the Namor character was great as well.
Even like from the beginning, it's like I remember 2012 was like, people like Captain America, but they weren't like diehards of Captain America till around Winter Soldier.
2014 changed the game.
Yeah. 2014 was the year of comic book movies.
2014 is the year of the MCU can do anything. Here we are, 2023, where the MCU can't do everything.
Well, they are doing everything, but should they?
But should they? It's great point. Great point. Yeah, good reversal of fortunes there. Speaking of reversal of fortunes, this finale ends in a quite surprising reversal. First off, Kate getting her arm cut off. How big did you scream?
Well, it's funny because the whole a lot of the time I was like thinking like, oh my god, fucking bloodbender, man, make her stop. Don't let her touch you.
It was amazing. The bloodbender magic that Marie was doing. I think they are setting up that she's starting to be more powerful than Victoria Newman.
Frankly, I think she might be our key to stopping Homelander, frankly.
Yeah. No.
Because we ain't using Soldier Boy at this point.
I think the key to stopping Homelander has always been his son. I think they're positioning his son to always be the only one with the potential to even emotionally and physically harm Homelander.
I'm mad at Ryan right now.
What? He's a kid!
No, don't you be like he's a kid. You have always been anti-fucking little shits. You make the wrong decision. I know you. I know who you are. I know what you are.
You don't know where I came from. You know what I've been through.
Things I've seen. Things I've done.
You don't know what I do when I click end stream.
I know. Yeah, dude. You're like, I gotta watch some anime.
Anyways,
I know what you are. A weeb.
Maybe Ryan's a weeb. Maybe that's why I like Ryan.
No, he's a fucking incel.
Oh my god!
Yes, he is. He's being raised by
Oh, wait, are we supposed to defend the butcherness of it all? Butcher was a complete asshole to him.
No, not at all.
I'll be like, fuck you, Butcher. I'm with my real dad. Bye.
All this is to say, I understand why Ryan is done with Legion.
Right?
I'm just upset that he's on that path.
Me too, right? I mean,
his mom didn't die for this.
He killed his mom
by accident.
Was it though? No, I'm kidding.
Hey.
But yeah. So yeah, I bring it up because again, the whole finale, Kate's just going on a freaking kill spree, Emma Frost, Jean Grey style. It was incredible. And I was like, okay, they gotta take her down, but there's going to be a season 2. Kate's one of my most favorite characters of the show. I mean, Jordan has always been number 1, but Kate easily rose to number 2 for me. I think her trauma and her arc throughout the season has been the most interesting. I love a good emotional, regretful villain, antagonist, who was like, I predicted that she was going to be evil, of course, from episode 1. But I mean, when you have powers like Kate, you can't be good in this world. You just can't. If you can fuck with people's minds, you're going to fuck with everybody's minds, including the heroes. And that's what happened.
Her eyes were too sad for me to doubt.
Yeah, she has great eyes.
So especially this episode where they were almost like fully red with the blue highlight.
Oh man,
that is a great. I was watching. I was like, I'm gonna fucking steal that.
It's great.
I need to draw that. That's awesome.
It reminded me of Naruto. And Naruto, if you people Naruto fans out there, if you use the Sharingan too much, your eyes start to bleed. The freaking anime eye bleeds. It was awesome.
I was watching some Naruto tonight.
Really? You're lying.
No, I was sitting down with my nephews for dinner, and we were scrolling Netflix, and I saw Naruto, and I was like, I watched Naruto at your age. Let's go. And then the sexy jutsu comes on. I'm like, what have I done?
Your uncle card is revoked. You failed. Out of every episode, what are you doing?
It was the first episode.
Oh.
When he's the child Naruto. Fucking this shit ran on Cartoon Network. I know for a fact, or Toonami, but still, it was like right after.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that late. It was like 8 p.m. for me when it aired.
True. Yeah. Toonami got later and later as it went on. That's funny. You should have just skipped to like season 2 or something. But
how was he gonna stop?
Yeah, he goes up.
I was watching. I also was not. I don't think I was familiar with the opening of the first couple episodes of Naruto.
It's good.
I saw Naruto and Sasuke give a fist bump to each other. I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't know this show.
That's when they play rocks, right?
Yeah.
I want to rock. Ooh,
I think they made Naruto mouth it. Like in animation. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, Sasuke picks him up. He's like, I want to rock. It's weird. I love that. Actually, that's funny because that's the American version of the first opening. The first opening isn't really that in.
Oh, we were watching American, yeah.
Which is funny. I mean, yeah, that's what Netflix has. Anyways, so yeah, this whole Kate versus Marie stuff was very fascinating to me because I could understand where Kate's coming from this whole episode, like I said before. But for Marie, who was, she got kind of inducted into the 7 in an emergency way from what's her name? Ashley. It was just hilarious this episode, by the way. One of my favorite lines is when they're trying to decide who should join the 7 and they're going through Andre. And the guy's like, we did some what did you say? We did some color testing.
Yeah.
That was so hilarious.
It was like, oh yeah, that might be detract, but the name recognition's there. We're like, oh my god, this is
even Ashley, like, get your racist ass out of here. Like, what are you
for real? They also were calling out fucking I didn't realize it was a translucent sun.
Me neither.
Yeah, and they were like, if he's just as pervy, and I'm like, that's not inherent. Although hasn't he been hooking up with an animal?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Nathan? He's hooking up with a donkey. Yeah, he's a weird kid.
I was paying attention to the plot.
The plot. But yeah, it was interesting. And again, Marie's powers coming into fruition have been being able to sense like the blood in people's hearts and everything like that, and combusting Kate's arm. Overall, it was very emotional because there's a great sequence when Kate is verbally attacking Marie. Marie quick flashes to like her parents and like the blood of her sister, and that kind of grows into the power that she's able to have. And it was really cool. I like that dichotomy between Kate and Marie there. Before the whole Homelander stuff, we'll get to that Homelander stuff because it was crazy. But going back to Sam, I loved seeing Sam having internal battle with Luke. I think the Luke actor has been super good in all his scenes. It was so unfortunate when he died in episode 1 because I was really captivated by his character.
I was really, I mean, I think that shocked everybody. It was just because it seemed like it was gonna be like, this is our poster boy in the public, but like probably the underlying villain of the season.
Yeah.
And then because we're so used to Homelander, and then lo and behold, no.
And I thought via the trailers and the marketing that he would be like the classic trope of like the bully, the hotshot character,
the jock.
But he was a very like, even episode 1, I'm like, can you really trust this guy? But he was one of probably the most genuine character in the show.
Yeah, even though he tore off the dude's limbs, which was fine because they grew back, he was just like, hey, that was a good job, man. Like, catch you next time.
All that stuff, it seemed fake. Like, there's no way he's actually like that. But then the more you hear about him via other people after his death, you're like, yeah, this was who Luke was. He was super nice, cared for his brother. He just, manipulated by Kate, by Brink, by Shetty. All these external factors, most of them, like I said, these paternal guardians who manipulated him into having this be like the poster boy, the golden boy for them, while wiping away his memories of the one person he cared for most in the world, in Sam. It's so heartbreaking. And then when he's talking to Sam in the, inside Sam's mind, he's like, you left me here. Like, you killed yourself and left me here. And it was very interesting hearing about that. And then for Sam to be like, hey, Kate, can you make me forget? Can you make me feel nothing? Kind of basically locking Luke away. So what I'm looking forward to in moving forward to a season 2, actually, I'll save my looking forward to season 2 predictions after we go over the rest of the episode. But again, Emma's stuff was great. Kate's stuff was great. Even Jordan, I love Jordan. Love Jordan. Mm-hmm. And what they did when they got to do in this episode was amazing too. Her relationship with everybody else. Hey guys, are you looking forward to the season finale of Loki? And are you we're looking for any surprise or appearances in the finale? Hey, what's up, world biggest geek? We haven't gotten to Loki yet, but we can answer the question. Wait, he pulled up the question again. I'm glad I just completely forgot. Are you looking? Yeah, we're huge fans of Loki. Can't wait for the season 2 finale of Loki. Surprises? I don't know I'm not really expecting any big cameos or surprises. I think what we're looking, I was going to say this later on, but we're going to be getting kind of a redo, I think, in the finale. Like, hey, let's rewind. Let's try and not all die to a combusted time stream. So they might be like redoing things so we can keep Timely alive, so we can not, kill us all and redo everything. I would love a Sylvie and Loki kiss. Probably not going to happen, but I would love it. Any other surprises? Any other version of Kang, I guess? Are we getting multiple versions of Kang outside of Timely and He Who Remains? Are we going to get any possible cameos of Kang that we saw at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp? I mean, Ant-Man Quantumania? That's possible. I think they're going to set up Miss Minutes as a bigger antagonist at the end of this finale. That's another thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
What if we reprogram Miss Minutes on our side?
That'd be cool.
Factory reset, if you will.
That'd be amazing. I would love that.
I think you're right. I think any appearances we'll see are just going to be Kang related. I don't think we're going to see any like other Marvel characters that exist outside of this show. And honestly, I think the only like tee up you're going to see looking toward the future is just the open world of the different branches. However, the fate of that is gonna be moving forward. Whether or not we've restored the ability to have multiple branches, or if we're just going to be heading into the greater multiverse saga for that main story. Because hearing a lot of TVA stuff is going to be in other properties in the Secret Wars and King Dynasty.
Yeah, which are two movies that are already in flux right now because of everything happening with Marvel. But Loki season 2 has already been written, so whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So I think we're going to be setting up a lot of Kang and, like you said, not Deadpool stuff, but just like the implications for the future of the TVA. So yeah. Yeah, wrapping up some Gen V stuff overall. What's it called? Again, I think we're talking about Sam and Luke here. I'm very curious to see what Sam does moving into season 2. He is a very susceptible character. He's not an idiot, but he's just very fresh. He's like a young hatchling who just got opened up into a brand new world, basically, because he's been caged up for so long. He's very susceptible to like the speech that we heard in the penultimate episode, or he was susceptible to Emma, like whoever's in his ear he will talk to. But because of his trauma and everything that has happened, especially in this finale, they make him out to be like this hero by the end. It's like Kate and Sam are the heroes. So are we going to get dual arcs between Kate and Sam where they're on top of the world technically, but they're still like they have no more friends? Kate and Sam aren't really the closest characters, based on what Kate did to Sam in the past. So it's like, how is their interactions going to be moving forward in season 2? Is Sam going to regret, feeling nothing and forgetting his brother? Is Kate going to regret? I say but yeah, they are going to regret their actions because they're good people at heart. So just seeing that arc play out is going to be fascinating to watch because Kate now has the, allure, or how should I say, like the fans of the world. She's probably like the number one hero, I would assume, in campus.
I think just based on the highlight of the media and stuff and how like high their numbers would do, and because clearly they're the reigning top people at the Godolkin. I know they were looking for replacement for Starlight in 7, and I think they might interject both Sam and Kate into the 7. I think Sam will find a like sense of purpose as a protector of like this like spotlight, everybody look it up to me. Now I'm finally like the hero. And then Kate being like just the master ace up the sleeve of anything Homelander wants, really, because obviously he can threaten her into oblivion.
Kate is so powerful. Like I'm very curious to see the limits of her abilities because she was going off in this finale. Like, but she's still limited to like if she can't touch us, she's done. Right? I think her power is only affected by touch.
Yeah, and she's also now missing an arm, so she only has like a one-shot thing now.
What are they gonna do with her arm? She can. What color? What color are we getting for her arm?
What color?
Arm? Are we getting a robotic arm, silver arm? What are we getting here?
I would love robotic. I don't know if they would just like regen limbs in this world. I don't know. I mean, so there are heroes that can do that, but I don't know if there's how they would go about that.
She can go armless.
It could be arm. It could just be a stub.
Yeah, I must say, is she the type to go armless, or does she want another arm? I don't know, but
will she use it as a symbol against for the like points in the public? I don't know.
Possibly.
Because Vought wouldn't be above like saying, look at it, we have a disabled person in the 7. they would do
exactly.
that.
But also speaking about Vought, like now that Sam and Kate are on like the Vought side, or Vought is on their side, but are they going to be on Vaught's side? They're attacking the Woods, which was programmed by Vought. They know that Vought did all these horrible things, but now Vaught's supporting them. How are they going to feel about that?
I think just based on the final scene where Homelander appears, they might.
Oh, they can't say anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think even then, like I think Homelander and Kate and Sam are probably all in agreement on a point of view of the world in that way of Supes ruling over humans being better.
True.
So I think that's probably some path they would take.
When Homelander was like, "Are you an Like, it was.
What kind of animal are you?
What kind of animal are you?
And I was like, is this a test? Like, do you want me to be like a powerful animal?
What makes Homelander so good is that his presence is just a freak of nature. Like, I was watching anime Jujutsu Kaisen, and the character came in, big bad, and these two girls were like, "Should I breathe right now? I'm afraid to breathe. What if I breathe? Will he kill me?" I was like, "This is the terror that he has." It reminded me of Homelander. It's like, what do you do when that guy comes into your field of vision? You're fucked. I was at the edge of my seat because I'm like, this guy could do anything he wants, and nobody can stop him.
I was very worried because I thought, because Ashley was like telling everybody like to call Homelander for help, and so, obviously I know like the path he took makes much more sense, but I was like wondering, is he just going to be in the spotlight like, it's okay, people, I'm here now, everything's resolved. But then as soon as he starts to like turn toward Marie, I was like, oh, girl, now's your chance to freeze him. Don't let him move.
Bloodbend. He's push past it.
We have the technology.
That would be awesome. I need that to happen. I need somebody to like push past her bloodbending. That'd been so cool. But then she takes a chest full of laser beams. Wow, that was scary. I was like, Marie can't die, but damn, that was straight to the chest.
I was very worried because I was like, and then when the news report started to come up, it was the way it was framed. I was like, is this going to be an obituary? Is this a dream? This isn't real, right? Did they die? Did I have a one-off season for nothing? Just to set up a biohazard weapon for the boys? Please no.
Which I predicted last week, right? I was like, we're not gonna. This finale is not going to discuss Victoria Newman or the gas because again,
it's too big of a tee up. We have to deal with a whole new season for that.
Exactly, and then I think even the doctor said like, hey, it's 10 months away. 10 months, aka when the Boys season 4 drops. So all that stuff with Victoria Newman, the gas, that's her ace in the hole. I'm very excited. That episode, the penultimate episode alone, it made me a bigger Victoria Newman fan than I already was. I liked her a lot in season 2, and then I liked her even more in season 3 when we got to know her a bit more. So I'm very curious to see how she navigates her situation as she potentially, again, her main goal is also to get into the White House, into the politics realm, get the Soups into the politics. That's like the big end game for her. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what she does next season. But yeah, we see Marie, Jordan, Andre, Emma all in a white room, getting fed. No doors, but they all eating. There's like a milkshakes they're drinking. There's food,
Yeah, I was like, hey, that's not bad.
Not too bad.
It's bad, but like more than I thought they would give them.
Yeah. So yeah, they're getting out.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably in Vaught Tower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting escape sequence, prison break.
At some point, I'm sure.
Schofield.
There was an end credit scene with
Butcher.
Boy Butcher walking through.
Emma. Becca.
Ryan.
I love you. What's his name?
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban. I love Carl Urban, man. He's
Bones.
He's the GOAT. He's so good as Bones. Yeah. Too good. Watch Star Trek doesn't not get about it.
Need your girlfriend a tracking device? He doesn't miss, dude.
He doesn't miss. Also, fantastic as the main villain in Bourne Identity. Bourne Supremacy.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like the Bourne Identity is the first film, then Bourne Supremacy is the sequel, and then Bourne Ultimatum.
Everybody loves Dread. I still haven't seen it.
Dread? Oh yeah, it's great with Cersei and as well Lena Headey.
Oh. 300's Lena Headey. That's where I know her from.
Oh yeah, she's the wife.
Yes. And I think she might be in Rise of the Empire. Oh.
Man.
Anywho,
I remember seeing Rise of the Empire being the only ones in theater opening weekend to see that movie.
I remember seeing the marketing being heavy, like from producer Zack Snyder, not directing.
Yeah, from Visionary. Was he Visionary yet? Was he marketed as a Visionary by that time?
That was like 2013, I think. He was working on Man of Steel at the time.
I think at post Man of Steel, he was then known as Visionary.
He was only working on DC at that point, right?
By what point?
2013.
2013? Maybe.
So.
No. I mean, yeah. I mean, after Man of Steel was, I don't know. I forget his filmography. He's fine. He's a fine director. He's a cool guy, though.
Cool guy. Goes to the gym.
What? Nice. One of those directors where I'm just like, I'd love to hang out with him. He's cool. Anyways, yeah, we had a blast with Gen V. This is such a surprisingly great season. I remember when it was first announced, I was just like, really spin off of The Boys. I was like, okay, this could be cool. I'll watch it. But
what was another show that happened? Oh, The Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Yeah. It's best to be underestimating these shows. Then you get the best experiences for it.
I guess so, yeah.
Bad Batch Season 3 is one of my most anticipated Star Wars projects. I can't wait for Bad Batch Season 3. I miss doing those recaps every week.
It's funny you say it because I'm sure right now, I know for a fact right now, you're like, oh, God, that Agatha show? Why do we need this? And watch it blow your socks off.
I hope it does because I don't give a shit about Agatha shows. I don't care. I don't give a damn.
Not like this.
Yeah, by the way, I told my student, like, I don't give a dang yesterday. And everybody thought I said damn. I said dang. I said dang.
Oh, no.
They got dang. You. And they were all like, oh, Mr. Harris. Oh, Mr. Harris. I was like, you tell us to cuss all the time. And I'm like, yeah, because you guys cuss all the time. And I said dang. Anyways.
I know you clocked out that day like, fuck those
kids. I don't know what you're talking about. I love my kids.
I was like, you just document that someone finds it.
If
someone finds a specific clip from you from episode 108, my cup of tea, to show the principle.
Exactly. It's a great school. Love it there. Anyways, Godolkin. I work at Godolkin. I left Godolkin the day of this massacre. I was gone. Some of the powers, by the way, somebody had like electric power. You saw that, dude?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I went to mute because I was talking and I hit both of them.
He was like, I don't give a fuck what Evan has to say.
No, Brandon, yes, the powers, they're cool.
There's electric. Somebody was teleporting. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, it was a fucking face melter?
Yeah.
For that poor lady that was just like, oh yeah, I do marketing. Why?
Dead. Fucked up. But yeah, that's it. Let's dive into Loki. Loki season 2, episode 5.
Wait, one more thing, Gen V.
Yes.
Here I pose you a question.
Please.
What character from each show have you the most intrigued to interact?
Between boys and Gen V?
Yeah.
I would love to see who's the main boy in The Boys.
Our boy Jack Quaid, Huey.
Huey. I love to see Huey interact with. Who's he the most scared of? Yeah.
Scared of.
And you see, Huey's a very interesting character. Like whenever he talks about people with like crazy powers, Huey and Jordan would be interesting.
I feel like right now Sam feels like Huey if he didn't stop taking 10V.
Possibly. I mean, Huey's not that like gullible as Sam.
Sure.
Who else? Who would Starlight get along with? Starlight and Marie would be a fun conversation to have. I would love to see that.
That's definitely the way. I feel like Jordan would get along with probably any of the boys, really.
Probably any of them. But Jordan's a very like selfish and like standoffish character at times, though. Too. It's like, would she even want to talk to them? Probably not.
I think Emma and Kimiko would be good.
Ooh, that'd be really fun. Yeah, I like that. But going back, actually, you said that you think Sam and Kate could be part of the 7. Do you think we see any of these characters in The Boys season 4? If so, who?
Yeah, I think they'll all be there.
You think they'll all be in season 4?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, I think we could get a season 2 of Gen V. I think it could.
It's happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I think maybe that'll be after The Boys wraps, maybe. Because I think is this the final season of The Boys they're doing?
They didn't say. I would assume penultimate season.
Okay. Makes sense. I just I feel like these characters are so rich. Like I would want to see them in the main conflict of the boys universe. I don't want them to just be like, all the shit's going down with this big biohazard thing that they're going to be messing around with, and it's like, all right, we broke out, back to school. I don't know.
Great point, but also if it's solved by the end of season 4, then back to school it goes. So
sure, I just with where the storylines are, I don't see them going away from the main conflict of the boys universe.
Mm-hmm.
But
also, I love this cast. I love the school setting so much. I would just like to have what is a low scale, things they can get into for their sophomore year, right? Like that'd be fun to watch. Like just a low scale boys. That's the appeal of this show. Like this show was so like low scale. It was just basically a lot of infighting that I liked. It didn't really get too big until the gas got brought into the whole thing.
Yeah, because I mean, if I just see like a season of like, hey, it's our Gen V crew, and we're just like hiding out in the warehouse, running an occasional mission, which would be fun, but it's like the social interactions of college is what's really like captivating me. Like the fact that I'm like, oh, Jordan Murray, will they, won't they?
I love that kind of stuff. Like, give me like one of the episodes could be like a rom-com kind of thing in college or whatever. Or,
Double Date with Huey and Starlight.
Right. It's like it's so much of what I wanted from like a live action X-Men. It's just like them hanging out at the mansion, waking up, doing chill things, and then going on a mission, coming back home, decompressing. Like, just give me an everyday life, and that's what we got with Gen V, where it's like all these pressures, but it was always relegated to like, do they like me, or what's going on mentally with my like parents or so and so's parents. Like it was so low scale. I loved it. It was so personal.
Hopefully we get something like that when the MCU does X-Men coming up, because
they need it's right there. It's right there.
They had like they rounded out the cast of like the full young cast of every main player in by Apocalypse, but each entry was like, well, there's a world-ending thing we gotta face. Okay.
Yes, like, why?
And Wolverine's here by contract. But even when he wasn't part of the main plot, they were like, "Oh, we're locked in the same facility as him."
Which is why I think X-23 needs to be the main Wolverine moving forward. It's such a no-duh decision in my opinion. It's like I'm tired of Logan. I mean, I love Hugh, but like we need to stop with the Logan. Like give us X-23.
I think you can have a lot of like weight if you like you run with a young X-Men, and then when you have like a big player step in on occasion, then it's like, oh shit, and then you're not only like fighting alongside this veteran X-Men, but it's like you can have a different dynamic of like, well shit, I got to worry about these kids even though they can handle their own.
Which is why, like I think the first X-Men movie should be like a younger version. Like one of the recent X-Men runs is like the all different X-Men when they got the people from the past came to the present. Mm-hmm. That was a very good run. Like, what was that, 2015 or whatever, 2016? It was like all new, all different, where the people from the past came to the present. So we had like a young Jean Grey, a young Cyclops, a young Beast. Like all these came in the present. So you get these young versions of the characters. Yeah. That would be kind of fun. Just these young kids getting into trouble.
There's a great dynamic in X2 of like, kind of what I was pitching is like Wolverine was running around with Rogue and Iceman and Pyro.
Fantastic. That's why I love X2 so much.
And it's always so good with having the factor of Magneto, because at any point he could occasionally convince one of our ex-youth to switch sides, and it's like, oh fuck no, don't go.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they should build up to Magneto actually. The only person in the X-Men that had me hard to cast the Professor himself, but we'll see how that goes after Deadpool 3.
You definitely want to get somebody who's like an experienced older actor, but
I still don't know what they're going to do with Magneto and Professor X. Magneto has the Jewish background. I mean, not Jewish, but Jewish and Holocaust background.
Well, luckily, since we have introduced time shenanigans in this universe, really you can do anything.
That'd be the only way that I'll be excited for, or passable. I wouldn't mind basically a out of time Magneto.
It's funny before like we had any like a semblance of TVA ideas, we were like, I think to be Winter Soldier Magneto. Like, how do you do this?
it's super hard, and I don't begrudge Marvel because unlike the comics, it's very hard to make because like the comics have the opportunity or are lucky enough that they've already done 100 million plus Magneto stories about his Holocaust. So them doing new Magneto stories, they don't really have to dive into that anymore. But for the movies, for people's first time, at least in the MCU, it kind of has to be a prevalent factor to his ideology.
Yeah, I remember like some people were trying to pitch like the idea. Well, he's a mutant. Maybe he could have like slow aging and like. I see where you're going from, but I feel like any like extensive living period of time for the character, I would only want it to be Logan.
It gets messy, yeah,
because of like his just tragic living.
So yeah, I don't begrudge Feige there, but yeah, Magneto and Professor X have to lean towards the order side because by the time we get X-Men, it'll be what 2030 at this rate.
Yeah, because it's weird because at this rate you'd have to write like the Holocaust from the 1970s.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, like again, 2030s Holocaust, 1930s. It'd literally be 100 years since.
I think they did around like the early 40s, like 43, I think, for Magneto in the movies when they were making them.
Towards the end of the war, yeah.
Which still placed them being around 70 years old in the in the present.
Man, awkward. I'm very curious. Because if they go any other route, they're going to be lambasted to hell, and back. But yeah. Any more questions? Looking? No. Okay.
Arguably they could just like pull an incursion event and just like folding in like a character from a universe that was on track of a certain time period. Now they're just in the present MCU day.
Yeah, but Secret Wars, anything is possible. There's no excuse after Secret Wars to not make whatever reality you want happen. Right? It's a writer's dream for Secret Wars to happen. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like making X-23 the main Wolverine. Anyways,
like making Toby Hugh the main character.
No,
maybe.
If anything, Andrew.
I need that.
But yeah, let's get into Loki. There's not a lot to mine. Yeah. Admittedly, the episode of Loki, one of the shorter episodes, but also maybe it wasn't actually. I think it was 50 minutes.
I think it was like 47?
45, 47. So yeah, one of the shorter episodes, but I like the implications here. I was halfway through the episode, I'm like, okay, this is solid. We're getting some backstory for all the characters, some funny, some more emotional than the rest. But what's like the real meaning behind this? And I think this episode finally nailed the main theme of the season, which is based about connections and revitalization and rebirth. The whole season, Loki season 2, we're getting into how to change the TVA from the inside out. The TVA, which has been this entity that has been pruning branches, that has been a very awful, entity, as we saw with what happened with Sylvie. Sylvie was kind of our in to be like, okay, this is why the TVA can't be trusted. But now this whole season has been, hey, Loki is so desperate to save the TVA, so desperate to save the timeline. And he keeps saying, well, yeah, because I saw the vision of Kang. I saw what happened. We can't let these Council of Kangs come to pass. We have to stop these people. We have to save the TVA. And every time Sylvie's like, why? And today she asked why again, and he gives her a very honest answer that I loved. But before we get to that, I had a blast going from different branch timeline to another. And yeah, this was a very good episode overall. What were your thoughts overall about this penultimate episode?
I think this is the most emotionally poignant episode of the season for Loki.
Yes, that pub scene, dude.
That pub scene is my heart shattered. He's like, I want to lose. I want to lose my friends.
I don't want to use my head. I'm sorry. I had
to get help. That's the wait, twice in 24 hours you said that joke.
Oh, I was saying, when did we last use that? Spider-Man 2. We were playing Spider-Man 2 yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought it was really captivating. Seeing everybody from their original Taken timeline, essentially, in places I never would have expected. Some places where it definitely feels correct for others, like with how emotional B-15 has been about the loss of life in these timelines, and then seeing she came from being a nurse or a type of doctor.
Was that was new to us? But did we see what branch she came from in season 1? I thought we
No,
did.
all we saw was Sylvie let her peer into her original timeline by like awakening her mind out of it, which is great.
But we didn't see it ourselves.
Right. But yeah, no, she was like helping people and she was happy. It's even if it's going as like she was working in pediatrics or something, that's just like it's something so wholesome and pure. So good. In 2012 as well, and I was like, did this little girl get crushed by a Chitauri invasion? I was like, no, she fell out of a tree.
Yeah. Right across from her, you could see Hawkeye save Kate. It all happened in the same block.
Right. But then on others, it's just like, what do you mean Casey was in Alcatraz?
That was weird. We gotta watch that Alcatraz movie, by the way.
Which Alcatraz movie?
Escape from Alcatraz. With homeboy, fucking the old actor turned director, Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
That's it. Apparently, there's a lot of Easter eggs. When Casey says, "My name's Frank," that's the name of the guy who escaped from Alcatraz, Frank.
Oh, that's fun. Just kind of like Loki with B.D. Cooper.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. But yeah, I'm with you. I had a blast going through these different branches and different pasts.
Yeah. And then we also saw Mobius in a setting that we were like expected, but also not as emotionally fulfilling as we expected. Not as tragically ripped away as we expected.
No, not at all. They played it more for jokes. I thought it'd be more. Yeah, I was with you. I thought it'd be more emotionally impactful. They did get close to that when they were like, I can't leave my kids. What about my kids?"
Yeah.
That was good.
Your kids, Marty.
Gotta watch those movies.
When are we doing that? Put that on the docket.
Yeah.
We need to also we need to curate a Christmas run for December.
Oh.
Because we were saying like we're definitely doing Ron Howard's Grinch.
What do I wear? Yeah.
There's too many quotes.
That movie is a stroke of genius. How that came to happen. It can't be made today.
Well, no, I mean, who do we know currently in Hollywood that has the Jim Carrey energy?
Nobody.
It's like Bill Skarsgård, but that's specifically horror.
Yeah, that would be a creepy version of Grinch.
Which they've done. Somebody made a non-copyright Grinch movie in the same way of like that Winnie the Pooh horror.
Oh, gross.
But they didn't have the copyright rights, so they had to like get around changing terms.
Somebody do Barbarian, but instead of seeing the Barbarian monster, it's the Grinch instead.
Somebody do Barbarian, but it's just the love story in the beginning. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I got sucked in, I was like, I like this. Like imagine
the love story.
Like, could you imagine like making a modern like rom-com that like starts off in like the elements of like setup of horror and it like subverts your expectation of the movie you're watching?
I would love that.
It is funny because like if you do it wrong, it's like this could be a problematic project.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it was very fun seeing these characters. But yeah, the emotional beat was definitely in the pub sequence, which I thought was very, very well done. But overall, let's start from the beginning here. Episode is called Science Fiction.
Yeah.
One of my favorite genres.
It's a good one. It's no science fantasy, but
yeah, it's close enough. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, Loki starts off here. We're a little bit in the future of the TVA, where after everything has been pruned, after everything has been all the friends are gone, and you hear apparently you hear Tara Strong on the radio, but it's not Miss Minutes. It didn't sound like Miss Minutes.
No, it was just a normal like protocol.
Normal protocol, fail safe kind of thing going on. Yeah.
But that was really captivating because he's like running around. And he like gets a quick glimpse of somebody that, just like looking at it, you're like, that looks like Loki. And then a few seconds later, he walks into that room and he takes the placement of that person. He just saw a very small gap of time, and it's like, shit, how fucked are we that we can barely progress?
I had a huge smile on my face. I was like, "Oh, we're getting into some time shit in this episode," because that was some huge Prisoner of Azkaban like references where you get to see your past or future self at the same time.
It wasn't my dad. It was me.
It was me.
It was me before that. Does that make sense? No.
How have we still not rewatched Harry Potter?
It's like we're like, oh boy, 8 movies. Like we did 13.
I think the reason we haven't done Harry Potter for the past 4 years is because we started our My Cup of Tea doing a whole Harry Potter podcast for 3 hours.
That was like almost 3 years ago now too.
I binge watched all the Harry Potter movies in a week. Took extensive notes. That was a good podcast though. Go check it out. 3.5 hour Harry Potter podcast. It used to be our longest episode yet until Last of Us or until No Way Home.
Last of Us, I think it was 3. No Way Home was up there. I feel like there was a random one that you wouldn't have expected that went over the.
I don't think so. There's no way something went over No Way Home.
I don't know if there's a way I can check.
You wanted to go through every fucking minute of No Way Home, so
I did, and I think I did. But when it came to Black Panther, Cars was like, "No, highlight." I was like, "Damn it!" I saw that movie 6 times.
Wait, what?
Anyway,
Wait, Wakanda Forever?
Yeah.
You saw that 6 times.
Yeah, it got me COVID. First time I got COVID was because I devoted myself to Wakanda Forever 6 times. To sold out crowds. And I do it again! God. Nathan watches Secret Wars 20 times.
Just dies.
He ends up in the ER. I'm on an IV drip. I'm just like, but Toby and you.
Dies from nerdgasm.
The nurse are trying to sedate me, and I'm like, I got another showing.
Check the app.
Wait, hold on, I gotta cancel my A-list. Hold on.
That's just like, this guy's fucked.
This is like the weirdest like deep cut lore that no one would understand. Just walking in. Oh,
that's good.
I'm proud of the nerd I am.
Your ass gonna be burned.
If you don't love me at my No Way Home era, you don't deserve me at my fucking Time Laser era. I don't know.
The No Way Home era, man. I do not miss it. Every fucking podcast with a No Way Home leak or scoop or news drop.
I was a fiend with that because it was like I was just like I had akined it to like experiencing a novel adaptation for a story I knew all too well at that point because I read so deep into the plot of everything.
That was funny.
Now I hate it. I don't want it for anything else. I'm done. Please go away.
That was me with Tross, where I was so deep into like if Kylo will survive, and I was like, how much do I want to spoil myself? How much I do not want to spoil myself. And
you saw the team up shot, right?
No, yeah. There was a blurry thing, and I scrolled past it. I remember I seen a blur of blue lightsaber, and I was like, oh. And I
didn't see it. I think I might have slightly read the description of it, but I didn't know what to take at face value in those days.
You didn't get a John Campea watermark?
Who does that? he both 2 shots. It was like, here's all 3 Spider-Man standing together, and here's the table scene with Daredevil. My name.
How did that happen?
Because he's like, oh, I didn't think it was real. Why'd you watermark it, John? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, wasn't his best outing. Back to Loki. Man, you got me in tears. Prisoner of Azkaban. So yeah, after that, the world is crumbling around him. He time slips, and now he makes his way to 19-something Alcatraz. And all these are specifically labeled branch. These are all branched timelines.
Mm-hmm.
But these are all branched. But were these the actual backstories for these characters, even though these are technically branched?
I think so. I think it's like a factory, like I said, it's a factory reset of sorts of like default to start.
Okay.
A new game, if you
So
will.
this is who they were on the sacred timeline, even though it's who
Um,
they could have been on the sacred timeline.
Essentially, although I don't know, could people have
Because they were technically branched because of Loki's interference. Loki talking to them made it a branch timeline because Loki didn't talk to them on the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. I think I don't know. I think this could have been. I think what their show is telling us, like, this could have been their actual history.
Maybe it's a case of no, never mind, it doesn't make sense. I was gonna say maybe it's like where they would be in present day had they not been pulled from the TVA, but like they're immortal beings who like didn't age as soon as they got there. So that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah,
Or I'm thinking it. I
we
think.
meet Casey, who again is kind of like one of those escape from Alcatraz kind of characters. Very funny. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, San Francisco, 1900s. This is definitely Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, I was like Alcatraz for sure, and then he confirmed it, and I was like, yes, I'm not an idiot.
Very, very cool. So yeah, his OG name is Frank, same as the film. We jump to Sylvie's McDonald's for a quick second.
Really quick, and I was like, that's interesting.
I was like, why are we sticking there? What's up with her?
Because I was like, shouldn't she be in Asgard or something?
And then we quickly jump to the Mobius store, the jet ski store in 2022. This is much more recent in the timeline than I thought. Granted, in the TVA, there's no time, there's no sense of like recent or not recent.
We're in like 2025 or 6 in the MCU right now.
True, but yeah, in the TVA, they just out of time. That's what I'm trying to say. So, so it doesn't really matter. It could have been 2050 and it would have been the same thing. But anyways,
no, 2050 was the apocalypse. The Rock's.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
if you watch season 1, episode 2.
So yeah, we quickly jump to the Mobius store, but we don't. Do we go in yet? No, I don't think so.
No, because it's a quick flash. He's bouncing around.
Then we jump to the interview room from season 1.
We do,
where he sees like his death and where he first talked to Mobius for the first time.
That I found interesting because I was wondering if that's like the only like default place this variant of Loki can end up at this point, because he was pulled from our traditional sacred timeline Loki, who we already experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So that captivated me.
And what we learn about later in the episode is that he's going places subconsciously looking for his friends. We don't realize it early on, but that's what comes to happen later on. But I think that kind of clues us into why he goes in the interview room. He's looking for Mobius, and that's the first place he met Mobius. But anyways, we then see Hunter B-15 as a pediatrician in New York, 2012, as Nathan already mentioned. Yeah, very cool. Same time as the Avengers.
Because I was wondering, because it did label she was in New York.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wonder if she was also blacklisted by the Hydra, just like Doctor Strange.
Oh no! Blinking and missing. Tony was on that scan in one of the shots.
So yeah, that was cool. One of the funny moments, unintentionally funny, is when she's like, "Now, let me guess." She's talking to a kid. She's like, "Let me guess. You're just gonna climb up that tree again." And the kid's like,
"It's not gonna stop you, is it?"
Yeah, I'm like, then fuck you then. If you're gonna get in danger, bye. I'm not helping you out again.
He's like, okay. Let that be a lesson. Fix that shit. She throws an empty cast. Do it.
Sign your own damn cast, freaking kid. You should have said no.
See, I know you didn't like kids.
I love kids.
You love Ryan, do you?
Ryan's the best of us all. What do you mean?
Anyway, it's my sacred timeline.
Anyways, yeah, we jump back from Pediatrician back to Mobius. And we see Mobius on the jet ski, kind of. Then they pan out, and he's actually doing some kind of weird ad thing.
I don't like that the recap this week was like looking at jet skis, Mobius, and I was like, all right, well, I guess we're in for it. I'm like, all right, there's some shit you gotta just stop. You gotta just save. I'm like, I get the setup with like all the sacred timeline discourse and shit, and Victor Timely dying. Like, yes, put that in the recap, but it's just like jet skis. But like, yes, I've watched the show for 2 seasons now. I'm aware.
Yeah. That's why I like to skip recaps sometimes, but sometimes like you said, they're unavoidable. And it kind of be like, okay, so we're gonna meet this character then. Like if one recap's like, dang it, Nathan, I really missed that Carson guy, and then cut to the episode's all about Carson or something like that. So it's like,
yeah, we have a previous on our podcast, and just previously on how, why.
Like, what happened next?
Right. Got to crawling through the rubble of Carson.
Give me 1 second. But yeah, so then he's just kind of talking to a customer, and it was very funny. Basically, trying to sell, or Loki walks in, starts pitching him the whole TVA nonsense. By the way, Loki, once you realize that people don't know who you are, you got to change up the pitch. But he's still continuing with the weird Mobius, Loki, this is who you were pitch. And the Mobius' first reaction. So ATVs, yes. That really got me.
Business must be terrible because he's trying to sell jet skis in Ohio, I think.
Cleveland, I think. Couldn't beat Cincinnati. But yeah, this interaction didn't go well. Also, during this first interaction, the guy at the store kept saying, like, hey, your son is calling you, like, twice, and he kept ignoring it twice. I'm like,
yeah, you're not that busy.
I know, right? Was like, is this supposed to like symbolize something? Are the writers telling us something? But I don't know. He comes back home and he's a decent dad. So
yeah,
actually, he comes back home and his sons were burning shit. I don't know. Like, what is this, Sid from Toy Story?
Some kids fucking play with matches and shit. Evan, you don't know children like you think you do.
Kids don't play with matches.
They definitely do. There are some kids that play with matches.
That's some movie TV shit.
Where do you think it comes from? They think there's like
movies and TV, fiction, writers.
Fiction. This is the science part of the episode, Evan. You're looking at me like, did you burn shit as a child?
Yeah, I'm not asking. I'm assuming already.
No, I didn't burn. I just paper. I got in trouble.
Okay. So let's see here. Yeah, he ignores the phone calls. I put in my notes, and that was weird. Also, did we get the Loki mimicking the blow up doll in this part too? That's really cool.
Yeah, it was like accidental.
He's like
like as it was.
That was smart editing.
That was good.
So yeah, this one, it didn't really go well. He's trying to convince him at all of this kind of stuff, like, hey, you should join the TVA, and the Raw is gonna die. It's like, okay, fuck you, basically. Yeah. In the nicest way possible. And then we jump to OB in 1994, who puts his own book into the library. Slick.
I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if he's like, maybe if they can't scan the barcode, they'll put a new one on to make it.
I didn't get it either.
It's a library, right? So he wants people to check it out and make it available. I think he's not trying to make a profit here.
He's trying to say, like, hey, this is a popular book. Maybe you should make more copies. Basically put more copies in the library in the hopes, like you said, of people buying it. But it's called the Zartan Contingent. Cool. And then what?
It said Zartan. I'm sure it's an Easter egg.
Probably.
I'll go watch a breakdown after this and then
couldn't find it. Come back in the next week's episode and be like, Evan, so did you know Zartan was in issue 94 of Loki?
Let me just pull up the fucking plot leak of the last episode.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deadpool.
We got him. So then he goes back to his workshop, and it's very similar to the TVA workshop that we find him in the TVA. Basically a big parallel, but a modern day parallel. And he doesn't question who Loki is. He's the first one to be like, okay, cool, you're one of the characters from my book, The Zartian Contingent. And he brings up one of my favorite quotes here, where it is kind of brings up the title about science and fiction. Science is about what and how. Fiction is all about why. Kind of delves into why is Loki doing all of this? Kind of like why is Loki continuing to say the TVA? It's kind of tied into that theme there. But yeah, he doesn't question Loki, blah, blah, blah. He has a day job. His day job is PhD at Caltech. If that's his day job, that's pretty astonishing. So he's a very smart character. And he basically says along the lines of like the whole fiction being why, science being the what and the how, is that like he time slipped in the TVA, which should be impossible. But Loki did do the possible via the impossible. So it should be possible for him to do it again. It's very weird. Loki can't comprehend it. But basically, he did something that shouldn't have happened. So he should be able to do it again, even though it shouldn't have happened. So I love this whole time slipping thing. Basically, he's saying time slipping is purposeful. I will get to later on. So he gives OB a copy of the TVA, which ends up being his best-selling book, ironically, because everybody uses it. Doesn't really read it, but they use it all the time in the TVA. Very ironic.
I still found it pretty wholesome, and I was like, good for him.
Yeah. He does end up becoming successful in his own weird science fiction-y way. So then we time slip back to Mobius, because purposefully, because this is Loki being like, okay, this is kind of like what I have to do now. They're trying to get on the right streamline here. They know what they got to do. Give them TVA, and then he time slips. We're back to Mobius outside of his house.
Yeah.
As Mobius comes home, one of his kids is Sid, burning shit. Other kid is older, presumably. Says, "Hey, if you take care of your son, I'm gonna give you a snake." Which I saw some people reference as in like could be like a reference to Taika's snake joke in Ragnarok about Loki scaring Thor with the snake.
He also initially promised a bunny, so hey, maybe it's Teefs.
Yeah. What's good?
Not to discount Easter eggs.
So then, Loki gives him another pitch, basically. And this was a really sweet one. Basically, talking about how much Mobius means to him. He references how, like, the same lines that Mobius gave to Loki about the beauty of a jet ski, basically. It's like there's a beautiful union of form and function. He's kind of repeating the same lines that Mobius did to Loki, except this way Loki is trying to, via nostalgia, kind of like heart to heart, get Mobius to join him. And then the big hook this time around is that, hey, your real name is Mobius. If you don't help us, your kids will die. This timeline, do this for your kids, basically. And this is the beginning of that like selfish desire, as we'll get to, which is very interesting. So then OB comes in via this pitch, or during this pitch, with a now completed tempad because, time. It basically took him, what he said, 19 months to do this?
18, 19. He had to take a break because he was getting divorced. And I was like, he just wanted to do laundry and taxes.
Same universe. Oh, no. Mobius got divorced, apparently. His wife is gone, and OB got divorced.
Yeah, a lot of singles.
A lot of single dads out there, and Loki.
All the single dads. It was a single ladies joke, and I was like, wait, the women are fine.
I just got it. Let's see here. So I have this in my notes. After this, he says, like, how will your kids, like, help us so your kids can survive, create a better future for your kids. And Mobius eventually accepts it and then moves along with them. After some pushback, again, he says, like, I don't want to lose my kids, but basically Loki promises him, you can still have your kids because I can put you back in the same spot because that's how time works.
Yeah.
You won't lose any time with their kids technically. But anyways, I had a question here. Is the show presenting us the way I've been theorizing all season as Loki being the one to bring Mobius into the TVA, or was it just in this specific scenario?
I don't know. I think this might be an instance of we might be facing like a brand new start of like a Big Bang scenario, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So like essentially history is rewritten, but you know, there might be some echoes through this new set time.
Yeah. So yeah, he drops off everybody. Everybody's back at base. We see Casey trying to steal things, kleptomaniac. And then he says there's one more person that we have to go find. It's Thor. No, it's Sylvie.
Can you believe it? That's my season 3 prediction right now.
Chris Hemsworth. That'd be nice, actually. Seeing Chris Hemsworth in a TV show about Loki, you see an actual, down to earth Thor again. That'd be fun.
I'm sure he would immediately get control of the room, personality wise, and Loki just be like, "Fuck,
not again." Sylvia's like, "Your brother's kind of hot." It's like, "No,
no."
But so what starts disappearing in Sylvie's timeline first? Because
she's bringing out some food. She sets it on her truck, and it goes.
Oh, something popped up my screen.
No.
That was weird. Say it again.
She's taking some food out, leaving work, and she sets it on her truck. And when she's digging for her keys, it disappears.
Yeah. So this is our first instant that, like, hey, all these branch timelines will start eventually disappearing. But what's so interesting here is that there's no pitch needed for Sylvie. Sylvie already knows what Loki is going to pitch because she hasn't lost her memories. She is Sylvie. So she's going to take some more convincing because she goes back to where we were in episode 2, basically just living her life. Mm-hmm. Which, again, like I said in episode 2, I get it, but also there's bigger things at stake. But for Sylvie, even though there are bigger things at stake, she wants to get to Moby. She wants to get to Loki, understand why he's doing all this. And this is where we get the fantastic, one of my favorite scenes of the entire season, this pub scene, where she basically gets him to be honest about why he wants to do everything. And for me, what's so interesting is that he kept speaking about the macro, like save TVA, save the timelines, defeat Kang, all this stuff. And she's like, that's not why you're doing this. Why do you specifically want to do this? And he kind of relents, and he says like how he wants to save his friends. And this is what the show in general has always been about. These connections you make along the way, the friends that have turned into family, the love he has for Sylvie, all these things are exactly why. And he kind of says this even when during that carousel scene in episode 3 or 2, which she's like, why'd you come back? Like, why are you stopping me from killing Kang? He's like, I care about you. I care about, like, you and your peace. And if we don't defeat Kang, then you won't be able to have a home again. You won't be able to have peace. She kind of ignored that during her rage in episode 3, but it's coming back here. I think he says he wants to do this for his family. And what I love about this scene also is that, like, she acknowledges that what he was doing was selfish. There was a selfish desire. He's taking away people's free will, in a sense. She brings this up. Like, you're taking away their will by basically giving them no options but to help you. And this, Nathan, is kind of what we talked about last week when Loki had that conversation about, like, what should we do about Kang? Like, hey, we should watch over him, about this idea about free will and that we're gods. He goes back to, subconsciously, and even some audience members might not realize it, but he goes back to playing God with these people's lives, giving them no other options but to help him, like he did with Mobius, saying like, hey, your friends, your sons will die if you don't help us. And of course, a father is going to relent and help out Loki. Mm-hmm. So she kind of like gets him on that, saying, hey, you're kind of playing God again. By controlling their lives, playing like guilt trip, you're giving them no other options, and it kind of works on him here before he goes back. But overall, what'd you think here about this pub scene?
I think it's wonderful. I think the vulnerability of Loki is just on full display. What really intrigues me and has it come all together is how he feels going back to the group and relenting like this was a mistake. I'm sorry. And it's ultimately from the final line of Sylvie just being like, everyone's writing their own story. Go write yours.
Cool.
It's great.
So good.
But it just makes you think of the tragedy, because when you think of like everybody going back to their past lives, it's like, well, yeah, okay, they're doing stuff. They clearly are comfortable with the people that they are. Even Casey, who was just like, yeah, okay, I robbed that bank. But when it comes to Loki, like, if you round it back to the first episode, he sees how his life's supposed to play out, and it doesn't end well. And even before he dies, it's not a good, because where he's at the timeline right now, what does he go back to? He's going to get locked up in Asgard, and where that goes next is just like, yeah, I'll break out, but then my mom's going to die, and then I can have an empty feeling that I don't feel anymore of wanting to rule Asgard. Then I'll go on my adventure with Thor, but then I'm going to die just soon after that, and it's just it's empty. And even like Thor wanted to walk away from their relationship after a while, and we always talk about the tragedy of Thor living through losing everybody, but Loki, by his full redemption, has lost everybody too, and it's sad, and it's a life that doesn't feel worth living. And I think that's why he also ends up I think that was my reason why he spawned into the detention block in from season 1, where he watched his life play out in that room. So he feels even more empty than ever, because he has nobody of his primary old life. He has nobody of this new life he's come to know and love that has formed him into the person he is today, and he truly has to start from zero. And that's just a horrible thing when you're out the outlook of like you have nothing and you have no one.
Fantastically well said there, Nathan. I didn't really even think about that in terms of him going back to nothingness. Because you're right. Yeah, without the people that he's come to love and connect with, as in Mobius and Sylvie and the rest of the crew, you're right. He has nothing. I think that's why he values Sylvie's love so much, and it's why I appreciate their relationship so much. It's why he keeps coming back to her. He's willing to hear her out. He's willing to talk it over with her, help her understand him, and he coming to understand her as well. So yeah, I think he's so vulnerable in this scene. It's a very good performance from Tom Hiddleston, where he kind of relents and says like, I just miss my friends. And it's like, yeah, like this whole series, not even season, this whole series is about him becoming a better person via his friends. Like he's become the Loki he is now because of Sylvie, because of Mobius, because of Hunter B-15, Casey. All these people helped shape him into the man he is now, and moving forward, what he will become. So yeah, he values the people so much, and this is why I love the Sylvie and Loki relationship, because they see each other. They can get these heartfelt moments from each other. And it's so magical, for lack of a better word, magical. And also what I love about this is that later on we get this amazing record store scene with Sylvie, because I think a little bit of subtext here possibly, but like she's talking to Loki about how, hey, why do you need to do what you need to do? And he says it's for his friends. And I think there's a little bit of reflection there from Sylvie as well, because the same thing you said about Loki could be the same thing about Sylvie. I mean, they are both the gods of mischief. Mm-hmm. Sylvie is very lonely. Without Loki, she goes to a record store, listens to music, stares at the ceiling, tears up a little bit. She's by herself. There's a big feeling of solitude without Loki there.
Yeah, which I love. The record store guy, handing her the records, like, this is either going to help or can make things infinitely worse. And I was like, that is music, isn't it?
Yep, the power of music.
But no matter what it is, like, you have to go through that process. It's music. I was saying it watching. I was like explaining to myself, like, oh yeah, it is funny how music works like that. As if I never listened to music. I'm human.
Exactly. But I'm so glad they put the scene in there, because Sylvie's such a fascinating character to me. And like I said, she talks to Loki about why do you want to do it, and he says connection, friends. He loves it, and that's his. Or he loves them, and that's his selfish desire. I think Sylvie desires and yearns for the same thing. She yearns for that connection. She can say all she wants is like, I just want to live alone, work at McDonald's. And like, yeah, that's her exterior self. She's always going to be, that's her shield. But I think at the end of the day, I see her literally at the end of the day at night. She clocks out, she goes to the record store, drinks some alcohol, listens to music, and then she's by herself. I don't think she really wants to be by herself. I think she yearns for that connection that she had with Loki at the end of season 1. So hopefully they can get back to that connection that they had by the end of season 2. I don't know where we're going to be going here. I don't know if she's going to be working with the TVA, what's going to happen. Well, is she just going to go back to working at McDonald's now that once everything gets saved at the end of the season? I don't know.
It is funny that like no matter how much like this whole season, no matter how much she's rejected the idea of aiding and helping the idea of the TVA, she keeps ending up back like every episode.
She keeps coming back.
It's just it just is like destined, and I actually have a thing to talk about that come the end.
So yeah, everybody, her timeline starts to disappear in a fantastic scene where everything slowly turns to spaghetti. It's very terrifying. I just love that whole concept of just turn to noodles, basically. It's both freaky looking and terrifying. It's hard to describe.
It wasn't until when it happens the last time for Loki, just before the ending, and like even like his isolated area starts to go up and he loses everybody. Like I felt the dread and horror of the idea of all of existence ending.
Just ending.
Like it's not just like, like this selection of point of this space being destroyed. It's all that is, like every atom cell is wiped. Like it's far, it was started to be a similar thing when I started seeing people disappear. It was like it feels like, when Thanos snapped everybody away, but like watching it, this felt infinitely more terrifying because it's just, like I said, it's everything is gone. It's ultimately what Thanos was promising of just like, all right, fuck you guys in Endgame, like I'll just shred it all down to nothing. This is basically it.
To atoms.
Reduced to atoms.
Good old Josh Brolin. Goonies own Josh Brolin. And what?
Mikey. Why'd you flatten my tires?
So basically, everybody starts disappearing. Because first of all, he says like, "Oh, we can't do it," but then they get the call to action. They say they can because Sylvie's back. Everybody starts disappearing though before they can actually do anything about it. And one of my favorite quotes from Eric Martin, the showrunner of the show, was that he comments how everybody's disappearing, but it's not until Sylvie disappears that Loki finally commands control of time slipping. Because he says, I wish I had Eric Martin's quote, but he's like, everybody disappearing is beyond Loki's worst imagination possible. But it's not until he loses Sylvie where he realizes he can't. This is like the worst thing ever. This is the worst thing possible, and that spurs him on to finally control time slipping, and she basically is the catalyst there, and he controls it. He managed to rewind time a couple of seconds earlier before it happens, and he realizes again that the purpose is like his connection to his friends, his connection to his friends. His love for Sylvie is what gives him strength, basically. And he finally manages to control time slipping, which is awesome. And then he says, what's the last line, right? Now I'm got a stories, basically, or time to rewrite this story, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which
well,
is
he was specifically calling out, it's not the how and the why and the where, it's the who.
It's the who being his friends. Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, so this was very captivating. The idea of him taking control of the time slipping, effectively. And I think I had brought this up as a theory of how I think this season could end is going back to the finale of season 1 when He Who Remains was like, all right, either Either you kill me, and I have a bunch of my variants running around, or you two run the joint. And then I ultimately started to get piecing through this angle of the season of being like, I think there's no decision there. I think both are what's to come. And I think that is coming to fruition. I think Loki, with this newfound power, of slipping through all of time, I think has taken the new form of He Who Remains.
Ooh.
And the fact that Sylvie was able to not be mind wiped out of everything, was able to go back to that timeline, even though it was destroyed, she was still aware of, after the blast of everything that's gone down. I think she is also destined to be with Loki at the end of time, and through all of it, in this position. I think the difference being, come the end of the season, we're not going to be the omnipotent, fearful playing God that you are worrisome in pitching throughout this idea. I think as long as Loki has his team, his friends, all working with him side by side, it's the Who, and so as long as they're all together as like a full, equally operating team running the branch of the TV, not just a single or dual ruler, but everybody, it's going to function as it should, and
should be,
and we can truly save the multiverse that way.
Which is true healing through love, through compassion, through the power of friendship, through hope. So we love to see. So again, yeah, I mentioned the whole, playing like God or sacrificing people's free will. I was astonished how quickly they were going to acknowledge it in the show itself, and they do it in this episode with the whole pub scene. So he's gotten over that hurdle. Again, through the ability to time skip, through the Who, through his friends, like you said. So I'm in full support of what you're saying here. But how do we get there, Nathan? In the finale, how do you think we get to that conclusion that you're talking about revitalizing the TVA? As I'm theorizing, I'm thinking he's gonna rewind time, so Victor Timely doesn't die.
Well, and it seems the last shot we did get to before the loom exploded. He's already.
You're right. Yes.
So we're already going to rewrite the memory wipes and resets.
Yeah. You think Sylvie's gonna remember? No, she won't. She won't remember that.
No, I think everybody's just going to be as they were of that scene, but Loki's new point of view, he'll be able to explain better and be like, okay, we have a shot here. I think before he does that, he needs to be smart, and he needs to go to a moment that gives him enough time to.
Yeah, what can he fix? It seems like such a big disaster. Everything outside is so dire, right? Like you can't even step outside. Now that he knows that, he could be like, hey, don't go outside, sure, but how do you save the day if you can't go outside and change the whole process? The whole plan they had was for Victor to go outside, put the thing in there. Can they do it remotely? What's going to happen?
If we go from episode 1, when Loki was uncontrollably time slipping, he was able to commune with OB far in the past to build some stuff to help him out in the present day, and it didn't alter anything of the timeline. It was just like, hey, make this thing and now we can use it. So if we can contact old OB to be like, hey, make it bigger.
Yeah. Make it safer. Put some more duct tape on that suit, please.
Yeah, build a funnel. Build a bigger funnel.
Get this man a seal.
And so with that, I think we'll be able to do some good. I think by that point as well, that would also mean Victor Timely would still be alive. What his path goes forth, we'll see.
I think they're going to see some of that because, like we said, I think Victor Timely is the person that eventually going to become He Who Remains. So they could see that through the finale here. We're also going to get some more, I would assume, some Renslayer segment scenes, something along the lines of Renslayer, whether it's in the episode or in the post credits, signifying where she is, because she got pruned again. So she's in that hell world towards the end of time. So we're going to have to see that. What happened with Miss Minutes? Are they going to position Miss Minutes as like a bigger antagonist in this finale? That's possible.
Honestly, I would think it would be interesting if we got to a setting where we run into Renslayer and Miss Minutes and them trying to pose like, you can't stop us. We have He Who Remains right here. And Loki be like, no, you don't. I am. And he's moving around and, kind of like messing with their heads in that way, and maybe with like the promises they're feeding to Victor, maybe that can sway his brain into a mindset of like, hey, but like I was promised this. Am I just nothing now and just taken out of this? This, where am I in this multiverse? This isn't fair. This isn't right. This is my thing that I established. And
true.
That could lead him down to, which is sad because we saw him be the sacrificing man that he was, setting him on a dark path to be our main king potentially.
He was going on a heroic path there again, due to the people that are good, like Loki and Mobius. He was on a heroic path, but now you're right. I think we could see, even though Loki sees the day here, we could still see an unfortunate side consequence being he remains, or Victor Timely going down a more darker path once again, which could just be the idea that it is unavoidable that he goes down a darker path. But I don't know.
It is very captivating when you think that He Who Remains was traversing throughout all these different points because he had a specific a tempad watch on his wrist. Loki, for whatever reason, the universe chose him to have the omnipotent power at will.
Yeah. He didn't get destroyed by the explosion of the loom. Why? I don't know. I don't know if the show's ever going to go into that, but it's very interesting.
Do you think they would do a weird thing where Victor Timely would be on a loop course to become He Who Remains by building said device?
Possibly they could get into that,
or just a variant, because I mean the timeline's too altered now to go back to beginning like that.
Well, because again they have to stick with him being branched, so it has to be some kind of difference there. Yeah. I forgot before we end here. Is OB? Do you have any credence to the theories that OB and Kang are some kind of like, I don't know, related or whatever? Not related, but just like, I don't know. People seem to think there's a bigger connection between OB and Kang that could be explored. I don't know.
I never thought of it. I would be open to it. I would love if it was like a two-sided of the coin, Xavier Magneto type deal. In a sense, I would just in terms of exploring and controlling the elements of time, because I'm pretty sure OB would be all for like the freedom of others, while Kang is all about that personal gain control.
Yeah.
Because like it was established in the episode, like both of their works were based on each other, so it's a Ouroboros in that sense.
Exactly, and that's where I see a lot of the theories that you're like, a lot of the connection, they seem to be like a circular Ouroboros, like circular infinite kind of connection between those two characters. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I don't think there is anything between them, but I would like more Kyo Hoi Kwan, so
yeah,
I would love it.
To that point, though, in terms of fulfilling this story, because I feel like they're building Kang very well here. There was a rumor circulating like Marvel might be shifting from Kang to Doctor Doom or something. And
yeah,
it's just you have really good groundwork here, and to just like fast track Doctor Doom like that, I don't want you to do. Just if it comes down to the thing, just recast. It's fine.
I'm full on board with the recasting. Because I think recasting is the better option. We've talked ad nauseum about our Doctor Doom theories. I think Doctor Doom should be the big villain post Kang.
I feel
set up Doom post Secret Wars.
That's smarter. I think because I don't think we would get a sequel to Fantastic Four until after Secret Wars, and I don't think they're establishing him in the first one. So
nope, he'll be in it probably, but.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a tee up, but I think they're doing Galactus first.
Yeah, which is weird. Galactus seems like a bigger-ish threat.
I suppose, but I mean, the amount of times we've already handled Celestials and stuff, and Eternals doing stuff.
You're right. Yeah, so now it's plausible that Doctor Doom could be more of a long-term big bad than Galactus. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm ready to be surprised for this finale. Again, I want some more emotional Loki and Sylvie scenes. I don't know where Sylvie's going to end up with. Maybe soon it could be the Beyonder if they don't want to go down that route. Inform me who the Beyonder is again.
I believe the Beyonder is the dude who assembles all of the heroes onto Battle World to duke out during the incursion events, which I think I heard that they're making the Kang variant, who are big bad, will be in Kang Dynasty, the Beyonder role. I think I'd heard a rumor about that. So, well, time will tell. So maybe. Did you want to talk about your article thing real quick for Marvel?
I did, but I don't have enough time.
Okay.
We can save that for our next pod. But yeah, we can already talk about one of the more important ones about Dr. Doom and Kang being things there. But I think, like we said, I think Dr. Doom just saved that. And part of me mainly wanted to refute a lot of the variety stuff because it was very ill-willed in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, we'll talk about that next time. But yeah, again, I have no idea where Loki season 2 could end up at. All this talk about revitalizing TVA, what happens then? Hopefully, I'm not a huge fan of cliffhangers, but I wouldn't be opposed to it because I want a season 3 so badly. Feige, I think, has talked about something along the lines of a continuation with Loki. For me, at least, this sounds like a season 3 finale kind of season, like where it could end with the season 3 or go on with season 4. I love the show so much. There's only 6 episodes season, so I wouldn't mind a season 3, a season 4, a season 5 if it has this kind of quality. Every episode is so interesting on like a personal level. This show is it's music to my ears.
I think where we go next doesn't necessarily head directly into season 3 because I think they're going to move the TVA to a prominent feature in the filmography side to get to King Dynasty and Secret Wars because we're hearing a lot of rumor that they're going to have a prevalent role in Deadpool 3, some other projects. I know the rumor of Shang-Chi 2 being called Wreckage of Time, so with a title like that sounds kind of correct.
Sounds like a toy.
It does. But with that being said, I think that's probably the case of moving forward. The season will probably end of like, okay,
they can do both, right? I think season 1 ended where it's like, what happened to Sylvie? Also, Sylvie broke the timeline. That kind of calls Spider-Man stuff. So
you could have the primary plot line of Loki running into season 3 while like, hey, if we have to have a TVA thing, Hunter B-15 is now in Deadpool 3 walking around or something.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
For shizzle.
That's about it though. I gotta head out.
All right. Where can I find you?
Find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. One of my favorite shows of all time, Attack on Titan, ended on Saturday, so I'm always tweeting. Right? It's over. Yeah, the last episode aired. The battle between heaven and earth ended. It's so sick. Great title. Ended on Saturday, so I'm always tweeting and just thinking about like the characters and how it ended. I think it ended even stronger than the manga. I was always nervous because when the manga ended a couple years ago, people were like, "This thing sucks. This thing is crazy. What did I waste all my 10 years for?" And it comes out, people are near universal acclaim, at least on my TL. There's still some people like, "Oh, this ending sucks," but a lot of people are coming to understand the deeper implications of the finale and how it affects people on a positive and more mysterious and just a more interesting note, which is interesting. But I'm also reading Percy Jackson these days. I'm super hyped for December 20th. Percy Jackson, the first 2 episodes, I think, released that day. And then, yeah, what else am I doing these days? Seeing a lot of Oscar movies happening. What did I do? On Sunday, I did a what we watched in October episode with Where Heartbreak Feels Good. So you guys can go follow that. That'd be awesome. So yeah, just doing a lot of stuff here these days. Having a good November so far. I would say go vote. It already happened. So I hope you voted if you're listening to this.
Yeah. You follow me _TimeBlazer, making the show called Time Blazer with creative consultant and co-star Evan Harris.
Playing Ben, the best character in Time Blazer.
Absolutely. Very excited to debut some stuff. Got some potential news cooking up very soon. Thank you.
Thanks. Good night, Geek. Yeah, Ben using Venom Blast now, right? That's trademarked, right?
I don't think I call it that. Well, it's the Shockwave. You're called Shockwave. That's your hero name. That's canon. So we'll probably call it the Shocker. So that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out.